Hi, everybody. It's Coach Katie here. So, a lot of what I am so passionate about is destigmatizing what self love really is. Because, I mean, if you think about self love, it's about the self and it's about loving the self. And how often do we consider that self love has to be vain? It has to be attention getting. There's something wrong with loving yourself. You got to give to others before you love yourself, right? That's what we've been taught. And we all know the adage of being on a plane and needing to put on your oxygen mask first, because truly for you to be able to give to others in the fullest capacity is to be able to give to yourself, to fill our own cups first. And think about times in your life when you didn't fill your own cup and you were expecting other people to fill your cup. I can say that in my relationships in the past, I have subconsciously expected my partner to give me a sense of enoughness, a sense of validation and approval, and to make me feel special when I wasn't doing that for myself. And so I think my biggest thing is helping you on this journey that's fraught with so many different ways that we're taught not to love ourselves by comparing ourselves to the outside world and being told or rewarded for being selfless in many regards. That's a very socially rewarded mask of being a people pleaser. So how many of us have people pleased and have compromised our own needs in order to give to others, and then we become exhausted, or we give to our business because it's kind of like our identity, and then we get so exhausted that we're run by the wrong things because we're working for that validation, we're working for that feeling of certainty and security and enoughness, that we end up pendulum swinging at some point or another to the side of exhaustion, where we're just tapping out for days on end. Or and then we may be watching Netflix and chilling, but are we judging ourselves as we watch next Netflix and chilling? So my whole purpose is to really help you to understand how to love yourself more and not to feel guilty about it, because again, we are so conditioned to believe that putting any amount of love on ourselves, attention on ourselves, asking for love and attention and support in a vulnerable way is wrong. And so what I want to do is start with the ego. I want to talk about the ego. The ego is not some narcissistic part of us that wants all eyes on us or wants all the attention on us, because that's what I think we tend to think of, especially in social media. Ego can also be that person who is hiding from the world, who is quote unquote selfless, who would never stop to receive support and is always giving to others and is not speaking up, not sharing their truth. That is also ego, because ego is a human condition. Ego is about protection, ego is about safety. So we all have different ways of protecting ourselves and feeling safe. Some people's ways may be more overt and in your face, and others may just be more inconspicuous. But both are ego. So I want to dispel this myth that ego is a bad thing. We need ego in order to survive. We need ego to get anything done in our lives. And if you are watching this and you have a purpose and a calling and you have something that you want to give the world, you can't do it without ego. Even Mother Teresa had an ego. Because to feel worthy enough of sharing what you have, of your gifts, of your message, you have to have some sense of worthiness, enoughness, ego. But ego that is out of check can be a harmful thing. Just like money, your love of money and your greed for money can be a harmful thing. But money alone is not the destructive thing. It's how we see it. So I'd like to shift and invite you into seeing ego as something else, seeing it as a part of us that we absolutely need. And becoming successful on this journey of your goal line and your soul line, of the 3D world, of all the things that you are creating in the world that people can see, all the things that you can put on a resume, and then the internal journey of your own beingness, of your own growth and evolution, of overcoming the challenges, the trials and tribulations of your life, and overcoming them with a sense of resilience, strength, courage, vulnerability, compassion, oneness, self love. When you go through your journey and you're able to be present to it, and then you can look back on how hard that time was, that's self love. Self love is acknowledging yourself for all of you, acknowledging your imperfections, leaning into the challenging times, and then coming through them, not around them or over them, but through them, and acknowledging yourself with such celebration that you can't wait to share that with the world because you want to help other people move through it and overcome it just as much. So, ego is necessary. Worthiness is necessary for you to feel worthy of who you are, all of you, embracing the wholeness of your journey, not just the consciousness or the spirituality or the all the positive, pretty things that people tend to like and comment positively on, but embracing unapologetically those parts of you that aren't so pretty. And I spoke of this in the other my first video. So if you haven't caught it, if you haven't watched it, I invite you to go catch it. And if you like this video, please like and comment below so that we can spread this message outwardly and create a ripple effect of self-loving, empowered, confident individuals, because I think that we have been shamed and conditioned to not love ourselves. And then we judge ourselves for when we step out into the world, because it's scary too, because we're allowing ourselves to be seen, to be judged, to trigger other people. And the triggering is actually good because it's triggering your own growth and evolution to stay true to who you are. And it's triggering the other persons if they choose to accept the trigger, but looking at themselves and asking themselves, why am I not out there like this person? We often get triggered by people that are embodying qualities that we don't want to own in ourselves. And I will do a separate video on triggers because I think triggers are so fascinating, because we are all mirrors of one another. We're all walking each other home, yet we all don't want to see each other in each other. I get defensive at you because I don't want to see me in you. It's too painful for my ego. But if we opened ourselves up to learning from each other and learning from our own difficulties, then we can cultivate that sense of compassion and oneness. And that is what the world is really calling for right now, where we're not canceling each other out, but we're actually getting curious about one another and opening ourselves up to hearing about each other's stories. Ego is victim. Ego is dumping your problems on other people. Ego is being the victim and not knowing that you actually have the power to create a different life for yourself. So if you stand in your power and become a leader in your own right, in your own unique way, imagine how many people you could actually inspire, who you could actually be the example for them. So you stepping in self-love is a beautiful, beautiful giving thing. Self-love is not selfish. Selfless is selfish. Self-love is being the example for others to see what is possible when you fill your tank up and when you step out into the world unapologetically giving your gifts. We all need a world of individuals that are truly connected to our soul perfection, and embracing the human imperfections in us, because we cannot deny those parts of us, because if we're denying them, we are going to shame and hide them, and we're going to be living in our fight, flight, or freeze because we don't want anyone else to see that part. So if we can own those parts, see those parts in one another, and just say, hey, I got the same thing too. It's like, imagine the connections we can form in this world, where we can actually stop and listen to one another from our hearts, not from our heads, not trying to prove that you're right, I'm wrong, but truly just holding each other in the journey. So that's my message for you today. And that's really what I want to invite you into understanding about self-love. Self-love is your responsibility. Self-love is your journey to yourself. Self-love is the ripple effect in this world. Self-love is your impact in this world. You cannot have any of those if you don't love yourself. So in the following videos, I will be talking about different ways that we can start to learn to love ourselves and the things that block us from truly loving ourselves. Comparison being a huge one, and how to reframe and shift your mindset around comparison, and also releasing the emotions that are around the things that we experience. Again, it's not about keep on moving, keep on trucking, and ignore what's happening inside of me, because that's also a denial. That's also ego. Ego tries to avoid at all costs, avoid discomfort, avoid pain, avoid triggering other people. It's a mask. So helping you to release some of these emotions so that you can truly come from an authentic place, an authentically empowered, beautiful, loving space. So join me in the following videos to come, and I will see you on the other side.